Call 855-993-2096 right now. That's 855-993-2096.
Hello, welcome to Echoes of Impact with Noura. This is your host, Noura Al-Masri. Welcome to the show. Today, we continue to celebrate women. And as we continue celebrating women, actually, I wanted to continue in the show to celebrate you, the women out there. So for that, I brought you some stories from wonderful women in this episode. And we are going to talk to each and every one of them about their life in general, so you can connect to them. You can see what they do. Maybe you get an inspiration from one of them. Let's get together, and we're going to start with the first guest for today, Lana Al-Sharur. Lana is a student at UIC. She is actually graduating in May, and she is graduating with the major of information decision science. Lana, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Noura. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you for being with us today. So, Lana, I know you have a lot of things in your plate. You still can manage to be a wonderful daughter, a wonderful friend, and an amazing sister, and you still keep in touch with everyone and do good in school, and also you're working 2 jobs. So let us know a little bit about how you can do all of that, and a little bit before, like, about your background, like what's your vision and for your life.
Yeah, so giving a little background about myself and why I'm so busy at the moment. But currently I'm finishing up my 4 years at UIC studying information decision sciences, which is kind of like information systems if you're not sure what that is. I am also doing a minor in finance. I did not start that way, however. I actually started doing pre-med, and after doing some work being a medical assistant, I realized that that wasn't for me. And so now I switched my major, and that's why my last semester now I have a lot of credit hours. I have about 18 credit hours I'm finishing off with. Usually people leave the last semester to be really easy breezy, but I'm taking 18 credit hours, and I have 2 jobs, one retail job and then another internship at a pharmaceutical company. So I balance those within the week, as well as weekends. A little bit about myself on a personal level. I am a Syrian American, a Muslim in Illinois. I was born here, however, my parents immigrated from Syria before I was born, and I just recently turned 21. So I am graduating a little bit early, but I'm very grateful to be able to do that. And I spend my days away from work and school with family and friends. And Ramadan is currently we're celebrating Ramadan, so it's been nice to kind of be with family as well as do activities at the mosque as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I want to ask you about something like this show called Echoes of Impact, and I'm sure you are doing an impact where you are. So how do you see yourself making an impact in your school?
So in my opinion, I personally like to make an impact with the little things. And so I like to smile at people as I walk by, or just be nice to them in general, even at work sometimes. Um, a lot of my coworkers might um, not be in the best moods, and I can admit I have also been very exhausted at work sometimes, and there might be little kids coming in and kind of wreaking havoc in the store. However, I think that being really nice and um, keeping a nice demeanor and treating everyone with kindness, even if they might be disrupting the store or being mean. I think that will influence people for the better, and it's kind of like killing them with kindness. So I feel like um, I try my best to be very kind, but I also try my best to give my honest opinions when needed as well.
Awesome. Awesome. So tell me about why did you decide to actually do these two jobs? Like you are taking so many credits to graduate, but still you're taking these two jobs. Like why did you decide to do these two jobs at the moment?
So as I'm graduating in May, I did want to kind of plan my career post graduation, and so currently, um, I've only had experience in the medical field as I do have an internship currently in the pharmaceutical industry, but I did start off pre-med, and so all of my background was in the medical industry, and I wanted to show experience in different industries so I can further my career in those industries that I'm interested in. And so personally, I'm very interested in the beauty industry. And so I got a job in a beauty retail store, um, a big luxury one. And so I work there on the weekends. And not only does that add to my resume and allow me to infiltrate that industry in the future, but I also really enjoy it because it's something that I have passion for. Makeup is the only thing that not the only thing, but one of the only things that I've personally put effort into learning myself without any ulterior motives, whether it be school or um, being put in a club or anything like that. So I really enjoy my job and kind of seeing the impact I have on my customers, whether it be finding a shade of something that they've been looking for their whole life and they haven't found, or um, finding anything that makes them feel better about themselves, or just makes them feel excited. So that's why I'm doing that currently. And I think doing this before I graduate and begin a full-time job or possibly an internship, also it's just kind of grinding until the work pays off. So I think it's good to grow my different skill sets, whether it be my people skills or my management skills within the corporate world. So I'm glad I'm able to do all of these different experiences. And honestly, I didn't know how I would be able to do it, but a wise person once told me that um, the more you take on and put on your plate just gets bigger. So I've really experienced that this semester.
Awesome. So, and you also still keep good relation with your friends, with your family. You go to gathering. I know you had so many events in February for your family, and it was your birthday as well. So you kept maintaining that celebration and good relationship with everyone, helping everyone. So how do you find time for that?
So I'm not gonna lie, you can't give 100% for every part of your life. And so in February, I found that although I did attend more gatherings and family events, I did see a slight decrease in my grades in my studies. And so then late February and early March, I had to kind of put my priorities straight and do the extra work to catch up on that part of my life. And so, something that I think all women struggle with is finding balance where, oh, I need to clean the house. Oh, I need to go visit family. Oh, I also need to work. So, you can't do 100% in every area of your life. And so you kind of just have to prioritize, and there's going to be this push and pull of different areas, but you have to be okay with that. And I feel like I have slowly gotten better at that throughout my life. And so, yes, I do like to balance things, but you also have to say no sometimes. And so I had to get over the fear of disappointing my family, or maybe pushing something back from my friends or stuff like that. I had to get over that fear of disappointing others, and so that I can prioritize all my different items and the more important things accordingly. And so I found out that my family is not mad at me. They want the best for me. So it's definitely nice to know that although I can't make it sometimes to some gatherings, they do understand that and they do want the best for me. So it's been really nice. And I'm trying to balance everything, but you also cannot forget about your self-care as well. And so I need to start prioritizing that. And so now that I am on spring break, taking a little time for myself, I didn't overbook myself with work or anything. I'm just going to stay home, do some very well needed cleaning, and just kind of rejuvenate before I go back to the busy life again.
That's awesome. This is a very good point you brought up. Like, you cannot give 100% for everything, and that is okay. That is okay. Don't just try to be the superwoman. You are super the way you are. So you don't want to overstretch yourself. Like, do take care of yourself. Like, and if there is something about grade or maybe like something you're gonna miss, you have to be okay with this. And it doesn't come easy. Like, you train yourself to do that. Thank you so much for sharing this information. And before I let you go, I want to ask you one question, and then I want to tell the audience one thing before I let you go. So what's the best advice that you think you can share with the women your age that's still in school and they still have to do all these stuff together?
Yeah, so some advice I'd give is to not be too stressed out about not knowing what you're doing in life. Currently, I'm kind of scared for after college, where I don't really know what path I'm going to be taking. Although I have planned ahead, it's still I'm very unsure of what the future holds. And so I think meet that uncertainty with um, eagerness to find out, I guess. Just kind of have that trust in God, have trust that everything that you are putting into your school, your effort, everything will be manifested in the future. And I say everything, don't think that you have to commit yourself to one thing. Try it out. I tried out medicine. I didn't think it was for me. I looked at what my strengths were, and then I tried to find something that geared more toward my strengths, and that came naturally to me, but was also challenging. And so don't be afraid of a challenge, but also make sure it's not too challenging where you're going to hate it for the rest of your life.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lana. And I want to tell you something. I'm proudly call Lana my daughter, and she's my only daughter. I have a son, but she's my daughter, and I'm very proud of her. Thank you so much, Lana, for being here with me today. This is Echoes of Impact with Noura. I'll be right back.
Have you ever had to hire multiple contractors? It is a daunting task that takes a lot of management time and impacts the core business or the company, the time you spend with your loved ones. At Texas Home Property Solutions, you can count on a responsible company that can tackle all your general contractor needs. Electricity, painting, remodeling, plumbing, air conditioning, and roofing. Hire us and forget it. With over 20 years of experience, Texas Home Property Solution will deliver your project on time and within budget, with the high level of quality and integrity, no matter the size or complexity. If you are a company, a government institution, or an individual who needs a general contractor, you need Texas Home Property Solution. Take a decisive step and call us today for a free consultation.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
Welcome back. This is your host, Noura Al-Masri, and this is Echoes of Impact. We have our next wonderful guest, my friend, Shane Harris, or as she known in the internet world, Shane the Negotiator. Shane is my colleague in tax and accounting industry, and she also a coach. And I'm not going to talk about it a lot, about what she's coaching about. I'm going to let her tell you about this. As you know, I like the guests to introduce themselves. So welcome here, Shane. I'm glad to have you here with me at Echoes of Impacts with Noura. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, of course. So would you mind just introducing yourself and give some background, like to the audience to know who you are?
Okay. So I'm Shane Harris, as you guys can see and heard from Nora, and around the social media streets and everywhere, I'm also referred to as Shane the Negotiator. So I am a tax and accounting strategist, and I am also a business coach. So what it is, I have two businesses that I've kind of merged into one. I have Profit First Taxes, which is my tax and accounting business where I help individuals there. And of course, I have my coaching business, which is Self Before Abundance, where it's mainly like a lot of life coaching and business coaching tied into one. And then, of course, I'm helping business owners to achieve true financial freedom by using expert tax and coaching services.
Awesome. Thank you. So, Shane, we are celebrating women this month. And as we're celebrating women, I wanted to bring wonderful women in here. And you are one of the wonderful people I know. So I want you to tell people, how do you do it all? You have two businesses. I also do some side hustles, I know. Like, how do you do all of this? And how did you come to actually start your tax and accounting business and then your coaching business? And I want you to tell them as well about your book. Shane is also a best-selling author. She just released a book last year. So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, hope I can remember all of that. May have to ask you for the cueing.
Don't worry, say whatever comes to you and I'll ask you.
Okay. Okay, so initially I was in the military initially right out of high school, and I was a medic. After I graduated from that, I became a nurse for about 15, almost 20 years. I'm telling my age. And I've always been interested in entrepreneur. I always had like side hustles, things on the side that I was doing, that I was doing Uber driver, Lyft driving, or, I was always doing something. So in 2019, I was like, you know what? I think it's time that I focus on something else. I think my nursing career was great. I helped a lot of people. I wanted to help people in a different way, and I wanted to help people by working for myself. So I started my tax and accounting business in December 2020. And I had a business coach, and that's where I ended up meeting Nora. We were on in the same coaching group, and my business took off. I actually surprised myself, and I did exceptionally well, because like, who changed from nursing to finance, right? At least that was my thought. And many people thought that. Surprisingly, I got a lot of people that supported me in that decision to make that change. And the people who didn't support me, I don't think it had anything to do with me personally. It was just like, why would you want to give up nursing? Who does that? So as I was going through my tax and accounting business, I realized there were so many challenges that I was seeing from other business owners who did not really have solid foundations on how businesses should run. They had issues going on with their mind frame and the way they're thinking and limiting beliefs and all the other wonderful things that I can list out right now that's not so wonderful. So fast forward to last year, I was doing before last year, I was doing some coaching, life coaching and business coaching on the side. So I decided to create my coaching business, Self Before Abundance, because for the legal side of things, it's two separate business realistically, and you want to keep things separately. So I created Self Before Abundance because I wanted to teach the business owners how to really prioritize self-care first. Because in order to achieve a lot of the success that we're all out there looking for, whether you're a business owner or not, you have to yourself first in most ways. Take care of yourself. You can't take care of other people and help other people to the best of your abilities if you're a hot mess, essentially. So I created, that's why it's called Self Before Abundance. Take care of self before you can get the abundance that you want. So I've incorporated the two because help with your mental and mental status and the things that goes into coaching to help you to then do the things that's needed to help you with the tax and accounting side of your business.
Yeah, this
So
is really important. Like I was actually surprised to see how much you have to work on yourself in order to make your business grow. Before I started my entrepreneurial journey, I wasn't actually thinking of that. I was like, okay, you have a plan. I'm a business major and like, okay, I have a plan, I have everything. So my business should do well if I go with the plan. But surprisingly, no, you have a lot of work to do on the mindset. So I'm glad you did actually pay attention to that and you created this coaching business.
Absolutely. And it came from a lot of my own struggles as well. And it wasn't just over the last 4 or 5 years. It was throughout my lifetime when I worked in the workforce as a nurse and other things that I have done. That's when I really started to put the correlation that mental health and finance and have a direct correlation with each other. So which brings me into my book.
Yay.
So my book that I wrote, it's called The Emotions Behind Wealth, the impact of unhealthy attachment styles on business success. So with that book, I've actually did a lot of extensive studying on attachment styles from my own to the people around me, my friends, my family, strangers, my clientele that I work with. And I realized that we fall into one of the attachment styles, which is, the secure, and the unhealthy ones, which are anxious, avoidant, and the more disorganized. So I realized we're falling into one of those categories, and understanding which one of the categories that you fall into, it really makes a big difference in your personal life and, of course, the way you run your business. Because the one thing that I love to say is how you do one thing is how you do everything. So when I actually started to write the book, oops, sorry about that. When I wrote the book, I was focusing on the business aspect of things because I really want, it's so many self-help books out there for you personally. There's not so many out there for business owners to really work on their mindset and incorporate that with their finances. So that's the focus of the book, to understanding what your attachment style is, whether it's healthy or not, and using the superpowers that come with some of those unhealthy attachment styles to really scale your business. Because believe it or not, even though we may have some anxious or we might be more avoidant or disorganized, and it is some negative that can come from that, there's also lots of positives to fall into those attachment styles. You become hypersensitive in certain areas, which becomes very, very much works in your favor when it comes to running your business.
This is very interesting, like the way you connected business with this. And not a lot of people think of attachment style to be correlated to business. They always think, okay, this is just with your relationship, where especially like when it comes to a love relationship, like, but not
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
business. So how did you actually think about like, okay, no, this is what they need. This is the missing part.
So I actually, a lot of it came from my own. So I'm pretty intuitive and pretty like because my one of my attachment styles, I fell on the disorganized. So I had some anxious and I have some avoidance. So again, it comes with some superpower. So I look back over the years on how did I become successful in anything that I wanted to do? And it was because of my attachment styles. So I started to pay attention over the years of other people that I've worked with, my clients when they come with, I started to use certain language. And then I find that and when it comes to my growing my tax and accounting business, I scaled relatively quickly because I was applying a lot of those principles and I didn't know that I was doing it initially. So I didn't realize what I was actually doing until I started doing the research to actually write my book. And I was like, my goodness, like I found the secret sauce and I need to share it.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. And thank you for sharing that. It takes a lot of courage to actually publish a book. And I know that because I am a publisher. And we actually, I want to tell the audience about something. We actually co-authored one of the book first with 12 different tax and accounting professionals, and me and Shane were together, and then she published her book and then I published mine. It takes a lot of courage. And how can
Absolutely.
people actually find your book? How can they buy your book?
Okay, so to find my book, I do have a link that's available. It's called Sociotap, so SOCIOTAP .com/SD negotiator. And SD negotiator stands for Shane the Negotiator. So you can go there and grab a copy of the book if you want an autographed copy. Otherwise, you can just go into Amazon and put in The Emotions Behind Wealth, the impact of unhealthy attachment styles on business success, and you can grab it on Amazon.
Awesome, awesome. That's great. And how can people actually find you to work with you?
So to work with me, so I have, to extent, I have two different businesses. So that's why I'm sharing the SocioTab link because it has both of the businesses there. So when you go on that link, you'll be able to see if you need accounting services or if you want more assistance with coaching services. And of course, the book is on there. So that's sociotab.com/SD negotiator. And you can reach out to me, see how we can work together.
Awesome. That is awesome. Thank you so much, Shane, for being here. I really love talking to you. And you hear that, all of you. So I am sure you got a lot of value from what Shane shared with us today. She has two different businesses. She's also an author. She's working on so many things. She shows up on social media every single day. She's doing videos, providing value. So make sure you go ahead and follow Shane. Make sure you actually go after your dream, grab her book and see what's holding you back from actually getting into your success in your business. With that, this is Echoes of Impact with Noura. We'll be right back.
Have you ever had to hire multiple contractors? It is a daunting task that takes a lot of management time and impacts the core business or the company that time you're spent with your loved ones. At Texas Home Property Solutions, you can count on a responsible company that can tackle all your general contractor needs. Electricity, painting, remodeling, plumbing, air conditioning, and roofing. Hire us and forget it. With over 20 years of experience, Texas Home Property Solution will deliver your project on time and within budget, with the high level of quality and integrity, no matter the size or complexity. If you are a company, a government institution, or an individual who needs a general contractor, you need Texas Home Property Solution. Take a decisive step and call us today for a free consultation.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again. Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
Call 855-993-2096 right now. That's 855-993-2096.
Welcome back. This is your host, Noura Al-Masri, and this is Echoes of Impact with Noura. I have next a wonderful friend. She is actually a very dedicated leader in her community. She is a founder of Syrian Community Network, and also she's running now for being a representative in her state, in her district in Illinois. My wonderful friend, Suzanne Achras. Thank you so much for joining me today, Suzanne.
Thank you, Noura, for having me.
Sure. So I like to have the guests introduce themselves to the audience more. Like, what would you like the audience to know about you?
So first of all, hi, everyone. My name is Suzanne Akras, and as Noura mentioned, I am the founder and executive director or co-executive director of the Syrian Community Network. We are a refugee support organization based in Chicago. We were founded in 2015 at a time at the peak of the Syrian refugee crisis. And at that time, there was a lot of support from everyday Americans who wanted to support refugees resettling. They wanted to adopt families. People wanted to help out in any way they can. And that's really how we got started. We started to mobilize people in different faith groups and communities. And in time, we grew, and we started with a zero budget, and now we're at about $1.8 million for a budget. We have about 24 staff. We have programs such as case management, after-school programming, adult education, youth education, teen mentoring, legal immigration services. So it was quite a journey. It was a hard journey to go on. To build the organization. And now I found myself in a different position where I want to run for as state representative for my district. I live in Illinois District 82. If elected or when elected, I would be the first one from my community to represent this area. I'm really excited about that. Today's the primary, so I'm lucky to be uncontested as a Democratic nominee. So I automatically win the primary. So yay! But I do have a challenger in November. So it's now we have to roll up our sleeves and get busy working. I'm an immigrant. I was born in Syria, and I immigrated with my family at the age of 10 years old. So I understand kind of like we don't take things for granted when you're an immigrant. You work really hard because you those freedoms that we have and that we enjoy are not granted to us when we lived in a different country, and many immigrants feel that way. So we really hold these the freedoms that we have very precious, and we want to improve on them. It's not a perfect union, but we can work towards improving on things.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Suzanne. We are very proud of you here in the Syrian community, like to see a wonderful woman running for office. I want you to tell us a little bit more, like, why did you decide to run for office? Like, what motivated you the most? Why now?
So I think being in nonprofit, being 20 years in nonprofit, it just prepared me for the next level of leadership. I've always wanted to run for office, but I never found the perfect opportunity or the right, spot or the right office. And I feel like working in nonprofit really prepares you to run for office because, for one thing, you're not just to run for office, but to hold office. But for one thing, you're always negotiating. You're always bringing people together. You're managing budgets. You're managing, like just the programs. I'm always looking for funding, bringing in funding. I know the critical programs that are needed within the community that I serve. And so seeing those things and understanding how policy translates into funding and services for people in the community on the ground. And so that gap that sometimes that we don't get, like we don't get to see it, but because of I've been doing some form of advocacy either at the city, state, or at the national level, I started to feel like, well, I can do this also, and I can really help my community and help my district to bring in funding for mental health services, for example, to pass common sense laws about guns, to protect women's reproductive freedoms, things like that. So seeing how policy translates into action on the ground really is eye-opening, and I know that I can work to serve my community in a way that can fulfill the promise of what I would love to do and to support people, especially those who are vulnerable, especially women, children, bringing funding for schools. This really excites me, and I want to really serve, and I really feel it deep down inside.
That's awesome. And thank you for doing that for all of us, actually, because we want to see more women representing us. We want to see like more immigrants and more Syrian, speaking about myself and the community I belong to. So I'm really proud to see you here. And I know a lot of people in the community are very proud of you. And you're not only running your nonprofit and running for office and soon to be in office, you're also a wife, you're also a leader in your own community, and you are a mom. So like a lot of women find that challenging if I don't have time for that. Even when the kids are young, because my kids are young, when they grow up, now I want to help my kids. They grow up, everything grows with that. So I have more responsibilities now. What would you say for that?
So early on, when I became a mom, I was lucky enough to be able to be a stay-at-home mom. It's work in itself, and so no one should ever take away or belittle being a stay-at-home mom, and I see this a lot with community. Oh, you don't work, like as if you don't matter or you don't have anything to contribute. So that's not true. So we need to take away that fallacy that being a stay-at-home mom is actually a lot of work, and also you can do a lot in the community to serve, to volunteer, I served in my children's PTA over and over and over, and and I was always doing fundraisers, helping with the school book fairs. I was always helping with everything that the school needed, and so I was really proud to do that. So in some ways, raising my kids and at the same time being involved in the community with charitable activities, with interfaith work. I even served one time for 1 year as the school traffic lady. So I put together the traffic plan because it was a mess, and I was really happy to see it implemented the whole year. And now, like 10 years later, it's still going, and they've obviously improved on it. So, but I know that I have I have the honor of starting something like that because really traffic was a mess at the kids' school, and so that I take pride in that. So it's work, but it's unpaid work, and it's unappreciated work sometimes. But then as my children got older, you evolve, you have to evolve it with them and seeing their needs. And then at that time of 2013, 2014, when Syria was in crisis, I knew I wanted to do something to serve my homeland, to give back to the to where I came from. And I decided, okay, well, what can we do to welcome people? And I was slowly getting involved within the refugee community with the Iraqi refugees started to arrive. And so I started to to understand a little bit what it takes to support people and welcome people. And then I decided, okay, let's just do this. And really a lot of people who became the first board of directors early on, they were also pivotal. They were the right people to help us get started. It was the community that supported us, that donated, I wouldn't be in the organization would not have gotten off its feet if it wasn't for the community members who supported. And so just that initiative, and my children also were always a part of that. They were always part of my volunteer work, and they were always part of, helping me with the organization, whether it's the logo, the branding, like different things that I learned from my children also. I learned so much from them. I remember when I started my Canva account to do the graphics, my son set me up with that, and he taught me how to use Canva. My other son taught me how to write a press conference. My daughter taught me something else. And so I grew with them. They grew up and I grew up with them. And so I always feel a sense of pride. And now when I mentioned to them that I wanted to run for office, they were really excited. My son Mahdi helped me come up with my website with his friend, and they created the branding. My other son helps me with my talking points, so my daughter just voted. She's encouraging her friends to volunteer for me. So it really is a family kind of affair, I would say. And my husband always supporting me and backing me with these things. So it really does take a family to pull together. And yes, it's hard, and sometimes it's really busy. But somehow it works, I don't know how to say it, but I don't know how to explain it, but it really sometimes it just comes together really nicely. And having support of your children actually gives you more time, because you're not having to carve out time for yourself. Whereas I'm working with them. Our time spent together is with them, helping me with my, how to rephrase things, how to say things, how to practice my speech. I would practice my speech to them. And so they were always part of my evolution and my growth, and I am part of theirs. And so I'm always so grateful for that.
That's awesome. And you're right. I see this also with my kids. I always consult with them for my business. And when I was working with nonprofit, also, I drag them around with me for fundraisers when we travel everywhere. So you see that when they grow up, and they will be more responsible, and they cheer for you when you do something, and they are there to support you. They're now your friends more than just kids. So, and your kids are, very accomplished as well, because this is the result of what you did with them. We really admire all of them, and also have a wonderful husband. So and you took the initiative, when you were a stay-at-home mom, which, like you said, it's a lot of work on its own. You took the initiative and to correct every action that was there. You didn't just leave everything and don't get involved with your kids. So you build this relationship with your kids, and as they're growing up, and as you're watching them becoming the men and women they are right now. So wonderful to hear all of this story, and I'm sure a lot of people will be very inspired with your story. So how can people actually support you with your campaign to see you in office soon?
So first of all, today is still the primary, so you have time to vote. So that's one thing. I think our vote is our voice, and this is so important. And a lot of people worked super hard and died for us to have this time to be able to vote, especially for women. Women didn't have the right to vote in the United States. And so honoring the people, the activists early on, and not only that, not only women, but people of color, how much they struggled, the civil rights movement, just to have the right to vote. And so this is something that we should honor people and all those who sacrifice their blood, their time, and their efforts. This is a time for us to speak out. That's number one. Number two, go to my website, SuzanneForIllinois.com, SuzanneForIllinois.com. You can read through my bio, go through some of the endorsements that I've received. You can make a donation. This is number one right now. I need support from the community to help me build my campaign off the ground. I do have a small team. And for anyone who has worked in nonprofit, that we can get things done on a shoestring budget. And so please know that I'm very responsible, and every dollar that I have will be stretched so many ways to make it work. So donate to my campaign. Number three, please volunteer. I need volunteers. I need people to knock on doors. Starting in May and June, we're going to be knocking on all kinds of doors, everyone, and just to get people to engaged, to get to know me more, to be able to have FaceTime with me, because really it's those personal interactions that we have with each other is what really makes the difference. So volunteer. I can't say it enough. And as crunch time hits, in October, leading into the general elections, we're going to need even more volunteers and to help us with door knocking and canvassing and getting people out to the polls. This is important. Everybody should vote. Everybody should make a plan, whether they are doing mail-in or they're driving their grandmother. If your grandmother can't make it to the polls, then drive her to the polls. If she can't get out of the house, then make sure she has a ballot so she can vote. This is where it takes all of us to come together. We need more women and more women of color who are representing the communities that we live in and the people that we serve. And this is very important. So 3 things: go to my website, donate, volunteer, and share number 4, share my social media and follow my social media. Suzanne for Illinois, that's my Instagram, and the same thing with Facebook and Twitter. So I look forward to engaging with all of you and to have your support.
Thank you so much, Suzanne. Thank you for being with us. Go ahead and support Suzanne right now. Go follow her, donate, and listen to every word she told you to do. So thank you so much, Suzanne. We appreciate that you're being here. This is Echoes of Impact with Noura. We'll be right back.
Have you ever had to hire multiple contractors? It is a daunting task that takes a lot of management time and impacts the core business or the company that time you're spent with your loved ones. At Texas Home Property Solutions, you can count on a responsible company that can tackle all your general contractor needs. Electricity, painting, remodeling, plumbing, air conditioning, and roofing. Hire us and forget it. With over 20 years of experience, Texas Home Property Solution will deliver your project on time and within budget, with the high level of quality and integrity, no matter the size or complexity. If you are a company, a government institution, or an individual who needs a general contractor, you need Texas Home Property Solution. Take a decisive step and call us today for a free consultation.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
Welcome back. This is your host, Noura Al-Masri, and this is Echoes of Impact. Now we're going to end with my guests, my wonderful friend, Brittany C. She's going to be talking to you about grants for women. We're going to talk about grants if you want to start a business, especially for you out there who wants to start a business. I want to make sure you have some idea about what you have out there available for you. So I want to welcome my friend, Brittany C. Brittany, welcome back to the show. Thank you for coming.
Hi, Noura. Thank you so much for having me back. I'm glad to be back.
Of course. So can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself? Because maybe they did not watch the previous episode, so I want them to get reintroduced to you.
No problem. I am Brittany C. I am a grant strategist in the realm of nonprofit and business. And so I, through education, I like to give those tips, those tricks to get you started with your dream now, today, right this second, versus 5 years from today. And it's all possible with grant funding.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So, can you let us know what's available at the moment for women, like to get them started with the business for women grants, as we're celebrating still women this month?
So, as we're celebrating International Women's Month, I would say before they start looking for these grants that I'm about to jump into, I would say the first thing they should do is get their certifications for their business if they're going the business route from the SBA. So that's your women owned business certification. That's your if they're minority business certification, if they're a part of the hub zone, if they're the um a part of the historically underutilized business. Those types of certifications are what's going to definitely push them to the top of the list when they are applying for these business grants that are out
So,
here.
how do you get those certificates?
Most of them are found on sba.gov, and the the ones that are not found, because the majority of them are on the SBA site, and some have their own site that you go to in order to get it. Some of these certifications do cost, but the majority of them are free. All they have to do is follow the instructions given to them whenever they go to sign up.
Awesome. So, to be a certified woman in business, it has to be 51% of the business owned by the woman, right? So she can be a partner with her husband. Okay. Awesome. So, does she have to have that in order to be qualified for grants, or it's just giving her a priority?
Well, it's actually part of their rules and regulations. So she does at least have to be 51% owner. And yes, for those of you that are like, did she just say my husband can be a part of this? Absolutely. As long as your husband is 49% owner, you still qualify for these certifications as well as the women business grants for your business.
Awesome. Awesome. But do they have to have the certificates to be approved for grants?
They don't have to have it to be approved, but the certificates do give them an edge over their competition.
Awesome. Awesome. And how easy, is it kind of automatic they will get approved? Or do they have to be a certain structure in business like LLC, S Corp, C Corp, or just any woman in business?
That would definitely depend on their business structure, how it is, whether it's making revenue. And get this, if this is your very first year, maybe you didn't quite make the revenue yet. There are grants for just startups, for just starting your business on that ground zero level.
So what are these grants called?
These grants are called startup grants for your business, and they are mainly tailored to the business. So whatever business that is, whatever business structure, like you mentioned, the S Corp, the LLC, or single member LLC, the solopreneur, what is it? Sole proprietorship, that's what it is. Even those can qualify for startup grants on this level.
And how much ideally, someone can get for startup grants?
Ideally, and starting off with these startup grants, ideally the minimum they can get is about 5,000 to upwards of 20,000 or more, and it all depends on business structure, where they are in their business, how if they didn't have their business, how their projection rate would be for as far as solving the problem that their business has. for the community.
That's awesome. And you guys, if you don't know what's grants, because I know I get this question, grants is really like a loan, but it's a free money. It's not really a loan. You don't have to pay it back. So it's money granted to you. You might have to report on it. How did you spend it? It depends on the funder, but it's free money for your business. You have to invest though in order to get it. So you have to be working with a grant writer. You have to also be working with an accountant to make sure your plan looks good, like your budget, your business plan. But this is the investment you have to do in order to get more money. So make sure you have all of that and make sure you don't lose an opportunity of funding. So thank you so much for this information. And where can we find these grants? Like right now, like what's open for the woman to apply for? Like give me just like maybe a couple of websites and what type of grants you on top of your head that you think people should go ahead and apply right now.
Okay, so definitely go to SBA.gov to see what's available for your business. And I just wanted to stress this as well for those that are freaking out, like, oh my gosh, I need this certification or I'm not qualified. There are different grants you can qualify for without a certification. Like I mentioned, if you're a startup, it's like I said, it's not mandatory, but it is something that pushes you over the edge. Another source is grants.gov. They have a slew of grants just for businesses and different business types. So I would say for that one, just go to grants.gov or sba.gov and just see what they have for your business or how your business can qualify. And yes, whenever you do get access to this grant or to see if you're a match, you will have to complete the application that they have there. And it's quick, it's easy, it doesn't take a lot of time unless you're going after the big ones, then of course it will take more time. Another source for grants, especially for women-owned business, which is my favorite, which is the Amber Grant. And what the Amber Grant has, they have a lot of grants for women-owned businesses from as low as 10,000 to upwards of 25,000. And when you apply once, that's it. You can win that one time, and you also can win an additional $25,000 at the end of the year for a total of, if you're the winner of both of these, 35,000 for your business.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for this information, Brittany. How can people find you to work with you?
So if your audience, if they have any questions, if they need help navigating this grant space, or if they're doing this, going it alone and they might be confused, I can be reached on my website, which is writingvisions.now.site. I can also be reached by email at hello@writingvisions.net. And on my page, there is a work with me button. So if you click that, it'll automatically put you on my calendar and we can discuss how I can better help you either navigate this if you're going it alone, or if you're like, I don't want to go this alone. I'd rather you do this for me. I got you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brittany. Thank you for being with us again. And I will see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sure. So that you heard from all these wonderful women today. I want to hear from you. I want you to email me what you want us to cover in this show. You can email me at hello@echoesofimpact.net. Again, it's hello@echoesofimpact.net. I want to hear from you. I want you to let me know what would you like to hear in this show. So make sure you take care of yourself. We're still celebrating Women this month. And even when March ends, we are still celebrating every single one of you. Now, That was your host, Noor Al-Masri. Until next time, keep making an impact.
This has been a NowMedia Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved.